Now some of you may be asking yourselves, Sam, you sound like a 14-year-old. You sound like you've touched one too many receipts. I can practically feel the phytoestrogens seeping through this video. What could you possibly know about working out? Shut up. Good boy. These are my credentials. This is me at age 17, and this is me almost 3 years later at 20 years of age. So I feel like by now I know a thing or two about training and what's possible naturally given a certain time frame. Still, a good chunk of you might look at my 3-year transformation and think to yourselves, that's not all that impressive. I've seen ex-influencer on TikTok make that transformation within 2 months at age 14. You simply don't know how to work out. Because nothing says I'm completely natural like gaining 30 pounds of muscle before you've even learned about the quadratic formula. See, that's the exact problem with the fitness industry today. Fake natties have ruined a lot of people's perceptions of what is possible naturally. Therefore, in this video, I'll be going through a list of some alleged fake natties, and I, as the foremost expert on this matter, will be telling you all how likely they are to be sipping on the forbidden Capri Sun. Now, the first influencer we will be ranking is Lexx Eubanks. Alex is a very special case as he very recently announced that he was ditching his natty card and hopping on a TRT dose. Which is basically like saying, bro, I'm only on steroids a little. Alex, if you're watching this, just own up to it. Not only do I believe he is lying about his current dosages, which a lot of gear users will do to make themselves look better compared to other steroid users, he also was not natty before this current cycle he's on. The guy used to have the crushed testosterone levels of an 80-year-old man and claimed it was simply because he got too lean. And then as soon as he put on like 2% body fat, his testosterone suddenly shot up to almost super physiological levels. This just reeks of someone that hopped on SARMs without a proper PCT and then hopped on enclomiphene to recover his test levels to the upper levels of the healthy range after. Him lying about all of this to his young, impressionable audience is only exacerbated by the fact he makes being a devout Christian a big part of his brand.
If you guys haven't seen on my main channel, we've been doing 75 Hard and we've been including a bunch of Bible studies into it. Every single episode we're doing a Bible study, kind of going over it, and I don't know, I feel like we were due to do a Lion's Den pod where I dive into more detail on some things, and bro, I feel like God has been revealing some crazy big things to me lately. And
I mean, the guy fumbled at the slightest bit of peer pressure from professional gambler and steroid addict Togi to start promoting gambling to his young impressionable audience.
Or you could take more steroids and there's not a problem. I gave Eubanks off camera a serious talk about upping the dose.
If we get up to 70K balance, I'll hop on 500.
70K balance? That's not even that bad. That's like a 2.5x, people. We could get Eubanks onto gear hard.
That's not very Christ-like, Alex. But you know what? Maybe Jesus also turned water into testosterone cypionate, and we simply didn't read that chapter of the Bible. So even though Alex is open about not being natty now, I still believe he is lying about his dosages, and before all of this, was still a fake natty claiming natural. Therefore, I'm still proclaiming Lexx Eubanks a fake natty and putting him into the juicy category. Alright, next up on the chopping block is Shizzy. Now, he's got that whole I'm just blessed with good genetics thing going on, and while he definitely has amazing genetics, his DNA would also have to include mutated code to synthesize trenbolone acetate inside of his balls for him to look like this natty. Since I don't particularly feel like showing a slideshow of 7 years of this dude's life to bring my point across, I'll just let the parrot from Aladdin tell you guys why he's not natural.
If this is 100% natural, why would anyone take performance-enhancing drugs? Look at the freaking biceps on this guy. If you told me this guy was on test and trend, and he looked like this, I'd say, wow, amazing genetics even with test and trend. But remember, this is not slow and steady, consistent progress that resulted in this physique. I saw up and down swings, and then suddenly, kabow, blammo, oh my goodness, what happened to him?
I mean, come on. The resemblance is uncanny.
I can't take it anymore!
But I digress. Back to Shizzy. I mean, look at his arms. They literally look comically photoshopped. It's stupid. Now, Shizzy went on a Jubilee episode recently titled Natty Lifters versus Steroid Users as a quote-unquote natty lifter. Lying to young, impressionable kids is one thing, Shizzy. But lying to gear users that obviously know you're on something with a straight face is something completely different. How do you not just feel shame, man? It was definitely a little satisfying to see him get called out on his bullshit in the video.
I'm a natural athlete, despite what everyone things.
Nah, I'm calling you out.
Whatever, dude.
You, Michael Hearn, Simeon Panda.
Whatever, man. Listen.
Once you get tattoos,
Bro,
you're
there's
not
a level you can't reach naturally. There's a level you can't reach naturally.
You're absolutely correct.
Everybody knows it.
You're absolutely right, Shizzy. Just so happens that you're well beyond that level yourself, my man. By the way, if you've seen this video, this dude, whoever he is, might have to be the most self-absorbed, obnoxious fake natty I have ever seen. Apparently his name is Joshua. I couldn't find him on social media, but him being good friends with Simeon Panda makes a lot of sense. The entire video, this dude is just filleting himself, pretending he's some enlightened, ultra-mature and self-aware natty with absolutely zero shame. At least with Shizzy, you can kind of sense some discomfort in him and maybe even a little bit of shame every single time he talks about being a quote-unquote natural. But this Joshua dude talks like he's an enlightened being put on this earth to guide the youth onto a path of natty righteousness while being so obviously juiced to the gills himself. Couldn't stand the guy the entire video, and as some commenter pointed out, there's no chance in hell he's natty. I'm putting Shizzy in the juicy category, and this Joshua guy, he's a sauce fiend. Now at this point in the video, you may be thinking to yourself, Sam, you're just jealous of these physiques and how dogshit you look compared to them. Of course you're gonna call all these incredible looking influencers fake natties. And while it is true that I believe that everyone that's bigger than me is a fake natty, and everyone that's smaller than me is undisciplined and doesn't know how to work out, there are a couple of exceptions to that rule. One of them being Jesse James West. Now, Jesse has all the hallmark signs of being a fake natty. That obnoxious fabricated enthusiasm, the little dangly earring that just looks stupid, and that shit-eating grin. But I actually believe that Jesse James West is an honest man and is natty. The guy's been working out for nearly a decade, was a D1 athlete in college I'm pretty sure, and there wasn't really a moment in his fitness transformation where he just blew up. Also, the fact that Jesse looks big but isn't really that strong is another reason that makes me want to give him the benefit of the doubt. The guy's been training for like 5 years longer than me and only benches 30 pounds more than me. Which is a lot, considering that the higher your bench gets, the harder it is to put on weight naturally. But seeing as I'm not exactly a genetic phenom and I don't specifically train to increase my bench, and the difference in our 1-rep maxes isn't astronomical, I can definitely see myself benching as much as him with the amount of time that he has been training for. It is by no means an unrealistic standard. I actually believe Jesse genuinely falls into that mythical 1% genetics and incredibly hard work category, and therefore likely is natty. I'm putting Jesse James West into the likely natty category. Next up is Hussein Farhat. This dude just looks egregious. He has been training for 3 years. To give you a frame of reference, I have also been training consistently for 3 years with not so terrible genetics. Now, I admit I haven't been as disciplined with my protein intake as I could have been, and I definitely have lost out on potential gains because of that, but even then, putting our two physiques side by side genuinely makes me want to inject Tren and Ment into my ass cheeks at this very moment. The guy's physique is several leagues above mine, and he claims he achieved this within only 3 years. Literally impossible, even with amazing genetics. Someone with amazing genetics would be lucky to be able to achieve like 90% of this physique after 12 years of rigorous training and strict nutrition. And you're telling me this broccoli head reached it natty in only 3 years? For example, let's put Jesse James West next to this guy. Jesse, who we've already established has amazing 1% genetics and has been training for 8 years, next to Hussein Farhat, who has only been training for 3 years. The guy looks nutty even compared to Jesse. Like, it genuinely feels insulting that he expects us to believe he's natty. And the cherry on top is that somehow Greg Doucette believes his shit as well. Greg, who initially rightfully so called him a fake natty.
A natty or not, a guy's name is Hussein Farhat. Well, I'm going to have to go with this guy is not natural.
But even at this size, it's extremely doubtful that you're natural.
We'll see.
But after a singular blood test, which are definitely not notoriously easy to circumvent, went back on his statement and is now parading Hussein around as some natty phenom. Now, to everyone's surprise, there does seem to be a slight bit of conflict of interest going on though, seeing as though Hussein is now an ambassador of Greg's supplement brand. This dude is 100% on the Sazul, sipping the forbidden Capri Sun, juiced to the absolute tits, however you want to say it. 0% chance he's natty. He's going to the juicy category. Alright, so to end this video off, and for the sake of brevity, I've decided to do a little quick fire round. Now, don't bother asking for any justification, as I'm always right, and that's the end of it. Let's go. Lexx Little, juicy. Mike Thurston, juicy. Will Tennyson, likely natty. James Beardwell, small cycle. Maxwell Krause, small cycle. Mike O'Hearn, natty. Just gotta eat duck eggs. TNF, juicy. Brody Shreds, likely natty. Stan Brownie, likely natty. Jeff Nippard, sus. And LeanBeefPatty, likely natty. She just abuses angles and lighting. Alright, so that was the video. If you guys want any more possible fake natties examined and verdicts to be made, just leave their names in the comments down below. If you stuck all the way to the end of the video, I just wanted to say a huge thanks. This is my first video on this channel, and it is a little bit daunting to try and grow a channel again from 0 subscribers. But regardless, if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be uploading fitness related content every week. And make sure to drop a like and to comment, as it helps the channel out a lot. See you guys in the next video.